Yes, guys, what's happening? And welcome back to the channel and welcome to this afternoon's live stream for match reaction and player ratings as Chelsea returns to winning ways with an emphatic 6-0. Yes, that's right, 6-0 victory away at St Mary's against Southampton. The sun was shining down on the south coast, but it was certainly raining goals at St Mary's as Timo Werner, of all people, got on the score sheet twice. Kai Havertz, 2 for Mason Mount, and 1 for Marcus Alonso, who opened the scoring, as the Blues scored all 6 goals within the first hour of the game and had an opportunity to give rests to Kai Havertz, Thiago Silva and Mason Mount ahead of that crunch second leg away in Madrid on Tuesday night. So really a perfect afternoon for the Blues. And after the last 2 results against Brentford and Real Madrid, I have to say I was really nervous about this game. Heading into it beforehand, I felt it was going to go one of 2 ways. We were either going to turn up and, quite comfortably win, or it was going to be a real struggle and we'd either lose or get away with a draw. But it was a complete opposite. And I'm quite shocked, to be honest, quite speechless, but in a good way, that I cannot believe we put 6 past these. I know Southampton were awful yesterday, and that's partly down to us playing really well, making them look bad, but so many mistakes, leaving so much space. But you can only play what's in front of you. And we've really struggled for goals this season in a lot of games. And it was nice for us to get a lot of goals on the score sheet for a change. But I mean, I really wasn't expecting it at all. As I said, I was nervous about this one, but I'm absolutely delighted that we managed to get a confidence boosting win. And we can now head to the Bernabeu with, I know it's very, very tough, but with renewed confidence amongst the camp that, yeah, maybe we can do this. But whatever Thomas Tuchel said, he said beforehand that, they had a meeting with the players. He addressed it. He said what he felt was wrong. I'm sure some stern words were said. The guys know that this has not been good enough for the last 2 games. We've let our levels drop. It's been unacceptable. Tuchel saying he was stressed eating chocolate, watching it back, too much chocolate. Well, whatever chocolate he's been eating, maybe he needs to eat some more of that, because it certainly seems to be helping in that regard. And it was a fantastic response from the lads. And it goes to show that these guys are definitely 100% playing for the manager. Any murmurings that, Tuchel might be starting to lose the dressing room, etc. These guys are fully on board with this. The standards have dropped to an unacceptable level for the past 2 games, but they were right back where they should be. And we saw the Chelsea that we all know and we all love to watch, free-flowing attacking football, which is we've not seen for a long time. Probably our best attacking performance since we beat Juventus 4-0 in the Champions League back in November. Until then, it's been slim pickings in the attack, not a lot of goals, etc., etc. But, he looks really sharp today, really sharp. And we put Southampton to the sword. But one thing I will say is when the starting lineup came out, I can't lie, I was looking at it, I was thinking, Jesus Christ. I mean, I know never to doubt Thomas Tuchel because he knows a lot more about football management than I do, and he's proven myself and other fans wrong on countless occasions when the lineup comes out and you're like, what's going on there? And it works to perfection. And yesterday was another example of that. The team comes out, it's like Loftus Cheek at right wing back. We've got Timo Werner playing. We've got Alonso at left wing back. Christensen still in the back 3 after the shocker against Madrid. I'm just looking at it and I was thinking, I'm not sure about this. This could be really tricky. And I'm sure a number of Chelsea fans felt the same. But I'm happy to take a fat L on that one. And, the lineup was perfect. Loftus Cheek had a fantastic game at right wing back. Obviously, we had Aspilicueta out with COVID. Not sure what that means in terms of Real Madrid. Don't know what part of the COVID rules are when heading to Spain. But, we had the back 3 of Thiago Silva I thought might get rested, but he still played. Rudiger, we had Christensen, Alonso and Loftus Cheek as the wing-backs. Kante in midfield, again, still preferred over Jorginho, despite being subbed at half-time after a poor performance. Mateo Kovacic was back in the midfield. And then we had Kai Havertz, Mason Mount and Timo Werner up front. And I felt, given the fact we'd lost our last 2 games, it was absolutely vital that we got off to a fast start. And that's exactly what we did. We went goals up very, very early. We were 4-0 up at half-time, but we went a couple of goals up in the space of the first 15, 20 minutes. First goal from Marcus Alonso, which he put in a masterclass down that left-hand side. It's so frustrating because there is a player in there in Alonso, and we've seen it before during his time at Chelsea. He has played well. He was outstanding in the Carabao Cup final. He was really good at the start of this season. Very inconsistent though. But yesterday, yes, I know Southampton gave him a lot of space. And he didn't have a lot of defending to do. I think Mendy had one save to make, and that was it. Southampton didn't offer anything at all. But Alonso looked dangerous going forward, and he played really well. And the first goal comes from Ruben Loftus Cheek getting up that right hand side. Fantastic performance from him, as I said. Puts the ball into the box. Minerals Mount with a lovely chested control flicks it into the path of Alonso, and he smashes it home under the legs of the on-rushing Fraser Forster. And it's a great start, exactly what we needed to kind of settle any nerves or any seeds of doubt that might be there to get the early goal. And we were 1-0 up through Marcus Alonso. Second goal quickly followed. It's Mason Mount with a great strike from the edge of the area. He's a Portsmouth boy, so I'm sure he enjoyed scoring against Southampton and giving them a little shush when he scored. It was a great goal, great strike from the edge of the box. And you're 2-0 up and you're thinking, oh, yeah, here we go. We've seen Southampton implode before. I mean, we don't want to get too carried away, but could this be 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even 9? I mean, we've seen them lose 9-0 on a couple of occasions before. It would have been great to have added a third occasion to that, but we won, and that's the most important thing. And Timo Werner, I don't know what it is about playing Southampton. It seems to me it's like the only side that he's particularly effective against, because they leave so much space in behind that he can just run in and exploit that pace. And it was almost like a throwback to the Werner at Leipzig. And I couldn't quite believe what I was watching. I mean, is this the guy that we signed? I mean, we haven't seen this at all. But, I mean, an interesting stat on Timo Werner, I'll just bring it up on the screen now, is that, of all the Werner's Premier League goals, 4 goals in 4 appearances against Southampton, and then 4 goals in 47 against the other teams. He seems to really enjoy playing Southampton, and I think it's quite abundantly clear why that's the case. As I said, they leave so much space in behind. I mean, yesterday he just had acres and acres of space. Not just him, but everyone else had so much space to run into, so much space to use the ball in, and there's no surprise that he did well. And it was it was the most Timo Werner performance going. He got 2 goals, which is great. But, I mean, the guy hit, I don't even know if it's ever happened before. The guy hit the woodwork 3 times in the first half, both posts and the crossbar. I mean, I'd love to know if that's ever happened before. He scored a great goal as well. A bit of a mistake from James Ward-Prowse, like a poor header back. Werner's in off the last man, and he rounds the keeper and he slots it in. And like that confidence seems to have returned. I mean, it would have been certain that Werner was gonna fuck that up, but it was a great piece of skill round the keeper, and he slotted it into the net. And his second as well, he should have had a second, but, he does some great dribbling, great fake shot to sit the defenders down, and he smashes it against the post, and Kai Havertz just has a simple first-time finish into the empty net. But look, it was great. It was a great performance from Timo Werner, and I'll get onto it more on him and the player ratings, but let's not be fooled. That was his 9th Premier League goal since he's been at Chelsea. 9 goals in almost 2 seasons. Let's praise the performance yesterday, but let's not pretend that this is kind of like the rebirth of Timo Werner and he should be starting against Real Madrid, and we perhaps shouldn't be selling him in the summer. I like Timo Werner. Seems to be a very nice guy, very liked within the squad, loved by the fans, etc. But ultimately, he's not the right forward for Chelsea, and he's shown that he can't really do it. He's never scored against a top 6 team. The highest team he's scored against is West Ham. And I think this was very much opponent specific, because we've said time and time again, Timo Werner needs space in behind, and he's very ineffective and virtually useless against low blocks. Southampton don't play a low block. It was a high line, loads of space in behind, and that's why we saw Timo so effective. But praise where it's due. He had a fantastic game yesterday. Could have scored 4 or 5 goals, should have had a hat-trick. And in a way, a good Timo Werner performance, but then littered with absolute Timo Werner classics. I mean, but I am pleased for him to get on the score sheet, and I am happy. At the end of the day, the Chelsea won 6-0. Werner on the score sheet twice, and it was quite remarkable. Kai Havertz, obviously with the finish, as I said, and then Mason Mount, and obviously Werner with tap-ins in the second half, and all 6 goals were scored within the hour mark, and it gave us an opportunity to give players a rest. Thiago Silva getting a rest. Much needed given his age and how much football he's played recently. And there's a great clip of him leaving Ross Barkley hanging on the bench for the high five. Thiago Silva, I don't know if he's obviously not done it on purpose, but yeah, it was a funny clip. So if you haven't seen that, it's doing the rounds on socials. So make sure you do take a look at that because it is quite funny. Ross Barkley wanting the high five, he's just left his hand out and he was left hanging. Yeah, and then obviously Kai Havertz subbed at half time. Christian Pulisic coming on for him in the second half. So great to give him a rest ahead of Madrid, where Havertz will definitely start. Lukaku's still a major doubt, wasn't in the squad at all for the Southampton game. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens there if he's available for Madrid or not. He's still a doubt. But yeah, it was a much needed performance, and whatever Tuchel said, it got the desired reaction. The guys were personally fired up. Mason Mount looked like he took it personally. The criticism he's been receiving recently. He's finally had a haircut, got rid of that mop that all he seems to be doing in recent games, just flicking his hair. Got the buzz cut, and he's turned into a buzz cut baller again. You know, Mount returned to form yesterday. He was everywhere, making things happen, goals, assists, all over the pitch. The Mason Mount that we've come to know, and I know, like, by his standards, he's not had a great season this season, you know, in terms of form and consistency. But the guy's got 18 Premier League goals and assists this season. I think it's only Harry Kane and Son that have got more. So to say that, I might have completely got that fact wrong, but to say that, you know, he's not good, or, you know, he shouldn't be spoken about in the same breath as certain players is a bit ridiculous, really. I'm just going to quickly try and find that. Yeah, only Mo Salah and Son have more goals and assists than Mason Mount this season. So Salah with 30 goals and assists, Son with 20. Mason Mount is next. 18 goals and assists in the Premier League this season, only behind Son Heung-min and Mo Salah, which is quite remarkable considering he's not had a good season by his standards. So 10 Premier League goals, 8 assists. He's in double figures. It's a good return, and there's still plenty of games left. So, but I'm delighted for him. And it goes to show at 23 years of age that Mason Mount is so crucial to this Chelsea side. You know, I'm not putting extra pressure on him or anything like that, but he really is very, very important to how this side plays. And he's only going to get better and better. You know, young players, I know he's young in age, but he's got a lot of experience. They're only going to get better. He's going to add more goals and assists to his game. He's going to be more influential on big games. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Mason Mount put in a top draw performance in the Bernabeu on Tuesday night. But yeah, it was a really welcome return to form for him. Kai Havertz continuing with I don't know, he played 45 minutes, but continuing his good form with a goal. And he looks to be the complete centre forward at the moment for Chelsea. He's definitely the number one choice there. He's got a lot stronger physically. He seems to have beefed out a little bit. Obviously, been doing some work in the gym at the training ground, which is paying off. And he looks like money very well spent there. And there's going to be loads of development to come from him as well. But, I mean, Tuchel himself saying after the game that obviously he was delighted with the performance. Let me just bring it up on the screen now. So Tuchel on winning 6-0. Very good performance offensively and defensively, was outstanding. The statistics on challenges won was outstanding at half-time. Through winning the challenges, we were able to be dangerous in transition, which I think is very true. The fact that we were winning a lot of challenges in the middle of the park and winning the ball high at the pitch meant we were able to be a lot more effective in that transition and turn a defence into attack very quickly and get ourselves through on the Southampton goal. That was a big difference yesterday. And I think there's no surprise that with Mateo Kovacic in there, we were winning a lot more challenges. The transitions were a lot quicker between midfield and attack. And no slander on Jorginho or disrespect to him, but he's a fantastic player, and you know what a season he's had. You know, over the last year, all the trophies he's won, etc. But he does slow the play down. When you want to move the ball quickly, Jorginho is not really the guy to have in there. And it was evident that, you know, with Mateo Kovacic in there, who was outstanding, energy, winning the ball, pressing, contributing to the attacks, you know, just the complete midfield player for Chelsea. And I've got to be honest, I think Kovacic and Kante is our probably best formation in the middle of the park if they're going with that double pivot. And he demonstrated exactly what we missed when he doesn't play. So I'm just hoping now that Kovacic is going to start a lot more games like he should. And he for me, he's our best midfield player. It's as simple as that, really. He's one of our most important players, and he should really be one of the first names on the team sheet. But I agree with Tuchel. It was fantastic that offensively we looked a lot better, and that really helped because we were much better in the transitions as a result of winning the ball high at the pitch and winning our challenges. And defensively, having shipped obviously 7 in the previous 2 games, making a lot of individual errors, it was great that the guys at the back was solid today. I know Southampton literally offered hardly anything going forward whatsoever. I think they had one opportunity, which was a great point-blank save from Mendy, the only save that he had to make all afternoon. But the fact that they kept their concentration for the full 90 minutes, didn't make any mistakes, and were calm and composed, that bodes well. And it was a return to the defensive steel that of old and what we've always had. But it's gone missing for the last two games. So a clean sheet was really important, as well as the win yesterday. It would have been really delighted to get that clean sheet, because that's what we pride ourselves on, is keeping goals out. And another interesting thing that Tuchel said, and I think I do agree with it as well, is that, let me just bring it up on the screen now for you. Where are we? Yeah, here. All right, let's get that one up. Is that he's saying that I think it tells us that we're not the team that can escape the results if our input is at 90% or 80% of our energy, commitment and investment. We are a special group when we have the priorities right. If we are committed, if we defend with courage, if we have the attitude right and the hunger right and win challenges, if we have the priorities clear, this is our foundation to then show the quality, then we are a strong group and a special group of players who have a right to believe in ourselves. I think that's quite interesting. And I think it is true that, over the years, it's been a problem. The mentality's been questioned within this group of players and, and within Chelsea groups of the past, that when things start to go wrong, things turn pretty toxic quite quickly, and the mentality of certain players is not good. And I think Tuchel's right when he says that. I think he's also right that Chelsea at the moment aren't in a position where if we're not at our best, then we do struggle. We need to be at 100%, putting in full commitment, full energy, and full investment in the game. Otherwise, we do tend to really struggle. I know your best is not going to be good enough every single time, but the level was off, and you could tell because we were exposed badly in those last two games. But yeah, it's some interesting thoughts. And I don't know whether people's priorities were elsewhere. I don't know what he means when we have the priorities right. Obviously, suggesting the priorities in the previous two games weren't correct. I'm not really sure what he means by that necessarily, but he's bang on when he says that at the moment we are a side that, unless we're at 100%, we do really struggle. We don't have, say, a world-class player where we can, not play particularly well, but have someone to bail us out. A little bit like Real Madrid with Karim Benzema, Cristiano Ronaldo over his careers. Obviously, at the moment, he's bailed out Man United a number of times this season, particularly in the Champions League. We don't really have that sort of player. So, yes, it is a problem. And I know the levels are going to dip every so often, but it was alarming at how far the level did dip. But, I think Tuchel's bang on. He's always honest in his assessments. He says it exactly how it is. And it's so refreshing to have a manager that's honest, speaks well, is articulate, and, just honest in the media and says it exactly how it is. That's so important. The players know where they stand. No one's being thrown under the bus or anything like that. I doubt he's saying anything in the media that he's not saying behind closed doors at the training ground, in the dressing room. But yeah, some interesting thoughts there, and I do agree. Let's just hope we can keep turning up and having our priorities right and delivering in the right sense. Another interesting fact from yesterday was actually that I'll just bring it up on the screen now again. Is where is it? Let me find it here. There's that Chelsea equaled their record of 7 successive away wins in all competitions after beating Southampton 6-0. So we've equaled the record there. I mean, it would have been nice to get 7. I think we would have broken our Premier League record for an away win. So it would have been nice to get an extra goal, but that's just been a little bit greedy. And maybe, could you imagine the scenes if we broke our record of successive away victories in all competitions by going to the Bernabeu, winning, and getting through to the Champions League semi-finals? I mean, I don't want to get too carried away, can only dream, but never say never with this group of players. But having said all that, we've got Real Madrid on Tuesday night. Look, you can only play what's in front of you, and we've got to be honest, Southampton were absolutely dog shit. They were awful. They offered nothing. They were making defensive mistakes all over the gaff. They had one proper opportunity. And look, it was a very straightforward afternoon, but you can only beat what's in front of you. I'm not going to get carried away and allow myself to be drawn into a false sense of security that, we're back. This was very much opposition specific in terms of the fact that the Southampton just offered nothing, but you still have to turn up, you still have to play well. And the fact we scored 6 goals and we punished their mistakes and looked really clinical in attack was really refreshing to see. But it's going to be a completely different on Tuesday night, a completely different level of opposition, a completely different atmosphere, one of the best stadiums in world football. And we're starting 2 goals down, and it's going to take something heroic to get through. But that's going to do us the world of good, getting a 6-0 win. But let's not get too carried away. I mean, I don't know how many of these players that play today will start on Tuesday night. Definitely a fair few will. But yeah, let's not get too carried away. We'll enjoy the 6-0 win against Southampton, but it's full focus on Real Madrid. And, that is going to be really, really difficult. But yeah, the Southampton game, fantastic performance from the boys. Great to see us looking clinical in attack. Great to see us looking good defensively again, despite the fact that Southampton didn't offer anything, as I've said. And it was a perfect Saturday afternoon. It really was. I mean, I'm just going to get into the player ratings now. I'm just going to bring that up on screen. Here we go. Starting in goal then with Edouard Mendy. And this was kind of exactly the sort of game that he needed. Having had a tricky last 2 games against Brentford and Real Madrid, where he'd been really shaky, made individual mistakes, distribution had been really poor. Mendy kind of needed a quiet game where he wasn't called upon to do too much. And that's exactly what he got. He had 1 save to make. It was a great point-blank save. Other than that, didn't have very much to do at all, which I suppose is quite nice as a goalkeeper. But yeah, it's great that he was able to get those past 2 performances out the system and show us the goalkeeper that he is. For me, the best in the world. But yeah, a very quiet afternoon. Made 1 save he had to make. He made it. So I'll probably go with I don't know. It's quite hard to rate him that highly. I think I'll go, do you know, we won 7-0. Let's give him a 7. Let's give him a 7. Why not? I was going to go with a 6, but let's roll with that 7. And hopefully he can continue his good form heading into the Bernabeu. The back 3 then, Christensen, Rudiger and Thiago Silva. As I said, Thiago Silva got subbed off just over the hour for Reece James to get some much needed rest. Great to be in that position. To be honest, the guys had nothing to do defensively whatsoever. And I think it's just a case of none of them were really much better than the other one. And very quiet afternoon, nothing to deal with really. So yeah, I think it's fair to probably give the defenders all the same rating. And I'm going to go with, they were above average performances for sure. I'm going to go 7s all across the board for the defenders because they didn't really have anything to do whatsoever, but they kept a clean sheet, and that's good in my book. So yeah, we go, I can't give the goalkeeper a 7 as well. I'm going to drop Mendy down to a 6. I think that's fair. Right, moving on to the fullbacks then. Ruben Loftus Cheek. I mean, I was worried when he was starting there, when it was announced that he was going to be playing right wing back. I was thinking, oh God, he has played there on a couple of occasions before as a sub against Burnley and a little bit against Norwich, but a full game then. I thought he did really well. Tuchel was delighted with his performances, saying that he wanted him to tuck in as an 8 as well when he was getting forward, and he got forward really, really well. Influencing the play. The shame that Werner couldn't get him an assist, but instrumental in that first goal, putting the ball into the mixer for Mount, who set up Alonso. And it was just a really good display from Loftus Cheek, and having criticised him for poor performance against Brentford as a single 6, as a right wing back, he put in a really outstanding performance. So he was really, really good, and credit where it's due. And we all want it to work out for Ruben. Ultimately, I don't know what his long-term future holds at Chelsea. I'd be surprised if he was potentially here next season. But, a fantastic performance yesterday. Really, really good. And I'm delighted to see it. And for me, it's a strong 8 for Ruben Loftus Cheek. Really, really good. Let me just bring that over so it's on the pitch. Ruben Loftus Cheek with an 8. Moving to the other side then. Marcus Alonso. Mr. Inconsistent. Sometimes, as Gattuso said famously in a press conference when he was AC Milan manager, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Today we had the good Alonso. Not much to do defensively. Fantastic getting forward. Looks really dangerous. A great finish for the goal. He was a constant threat up and down that left-hand side all afternoon. And a bit of a confidence boost for him as well. Whether he'll start against Real Madrid, I suspect he might do now with Azpilicueta missing through COVID. And it only being a short turnaround until we head to Madrid. We probably fly out tomorrow. So, yeah, I mean, a timely return to form. And he shows us what he can do. I know he had a lot of space and it was perhaps a much easier for him than it would be against opponents of a different calibre. But nonetheless, a really good performance from Marcos Alonso. And hopefully we can see more of that going forward between now and the end of the season. But I think Alonso had a masterclass, really. I'm going to go with an 8.5 from Marcos Alonso. Thought he was fantastic yesterday. Really delighted to see him do well. Right then, let's move into that midfield. Let's start with N'Golo Kante. And by Kante standards, he had a couple of shockers recently. Awful against Brentford, subbed at half-time against Real Madrid. I was surprised. I have to say, I was surprised that he started. I was not expecting him to start, but he did. He captained the side. And you know what? He wasn't bad. You know, energy, getting around the pitch, interceptions, breaking play up. Not outstanding. Nothing, amazingly special. Above average, really, from Kante, but there's a lot more there. And hopefully, I'm sure he'll start in the Bernabeu on Tuesday night. And hopefully we can see another level of performance there. But this was definitely an improvement from Kante from the last two games. So I don't know. He wasn't like really, really good, but he wasn't bad either. I think I'm just going to go with a 6 for Kante in the midfield. But yeah, a vast improvement of what we've seen from previous games. Let's move on to Mateo Kovacic, our Croatian man. I was so delighted to see him back in the starting lineup. I didn't understand why he didn't start against Brentford. I didn't understand why he didn't start against Real Madrid. I was baffled as to why he hadn't been starting more often recently. I don't know. I'm not sure what it was, but he was back in the starting lineup and he was sourcing in the middle of the park. He was cooking yesterday. He was great. It shows us exactly what we're missing when he doesn't play. Energy in that midfield, driving forward. He's creative, helps out defensively as well. It was an all-action midfield display. And this guy has to be starting every game for Chelsea in that midfield. He's so important to the way we play in midfield. He's our most dynamic midfielder. And I'd probably say he's our most important midfielder in terms of what he offers as an overall package. And it was fantastic to see him from the start yesterday. Really enjoyed his performance. And I've got to give him, I think I'm going to have to give him a big number 9 for Mateo Kovacic. He was outstanding in that midfield. And hopefully his performance can continue against Real Madrid. We're going to need everyone giving up at 100%. And he's going to be a key part in the middle of the park there, up against Modric, Casemiro, Kroos, etc. I'd expect it to be those three, maybe Camavinga potentially. But yeah, Mateo Kovacic, really, really good yesterday. And a 9 out of 10, boss proceedings in the middle of the park. Moving to the front three then, Mr. Mason Mount, new haircut, and the performance of old returned. He was outstanding yesterday. All action, goals, assists, all over the pitch. It was pretty much the perfect performance. And as I said, the haircut, the long hair, wasn't like him out with the long hair. I don't know if it obviously wasn't affecting his performances. I know it's a ridiculous thing to say, but gets rid of it. Form returns, no more hair flicks, it's not in the way, etc., and all that nonsense. And I mean, I said on Twitter that it was a bit of a dead haircut, and I don't know, maybe it is. But if he plays like that every week with that haircut, then that's absolutely fantastic, and we'll take it every day of the week. And took his goals really well. Great finish on the edge of the box for his first, and obviously a bit of a tapping in the second after forced the save from Pulisic, but. Yeah, I mean, what do I say about Mason Mount? In what's been described as an average season, only Salah and Son have got more goals and assists than him in the Premier League. Mount with 10 goals, 8 assists. And he, at 23 years of age, he's so important to this Chelsea side. And yesterday he was outstanding. And I know you can't perform like that every single week. It doesn't happen. But, if he can just find consistency, he's added more goals and assists to his game. And hopefully those will only increase as he gets more experience, as he gets older, and as he gets better as a football player. But yesterday, a really timely return to form for Mason Mount. And I think I'm going to give him the perfect 10. I thought he was absolutely superb yesterday. Really, really delighted for him. And he's Chelsea through and through from the academy. Yeah, I think the perfect 10 for Money Mace. Moving to Mr. Timo Werner. I didn't want him to start. I kind of expected him to start. People know my thoughts on Werner. I'm not a fan of him. He's not good enough for Chelsea, in my opinion. Look, the fact that those 2 goals took his tally to 9 Premier League goals since he's been at the club is just not good enough. And as I said earlier, it's very much for me opposition specific. This, Southampton, as I've said before, leave loads of space in behind. They play a high line, and perhaps that all that space in behind 2 German-speaking managers on the touchline. Maybe he thought he was back at Leipzig, and he kind of returned to that Leipzig form. But the first goal is great, and it's classic Timo Werner. It's a poor header from James Ward-Prowse. He's off the last defender, in behind. He's through on goal, takes it round the keeper, and rolls it into an empty net. And that is what we paid the money for, and that's what we were expecting to see a lot more of. But we didn't. We haven't. But, and the fact that he hit the woodwork 3 times in the first half, a hat-trick of woodworks, both posts on the crossbar, is the most Timo Werner thing ever. Missing great chances, but putting the ball in the back of the net twice. And it's his best performance in a Chelsea shirt, probably since the corresponding fixture in October, I think it was, against the Saints. But, 2 goals on the score sheet. He did do really well, but he's only effective for me against opposition that play like Southampton. And there's very few that play like Southampton, which is why he's been so ineffective. But yesterday he was really good, and it was like the Leipzig Werner. But, let's not get ourselves carried away. He shouldn't be starting in the Bernabeu on Tuesday night. He won't get anywhere near that much space against Real Madrid and a better quality of opposition. And he's not the type of forward that's right for Chelsea. And I've got no problem saying that at all. Wherever he goes, we have to be moved on in the summer. I think it's best for both parties, but I was delighted for him to get his goals, and hopefully that can give him a bit of a confidence boost towards the end of the season. But let's not kid ourselves here. Excuse me. He's not good enough for Chelsea, and let's not get too carried away. But a great day for him yesterday, and a really good performance. And I've got to be honest, having given him a 0 last time he played against Brentford, Timo Werner is getting a 9. For his performance. It was really, really good. And I am very pleased for him. I am. Despite what I've said and despite my thoughts on him, whenever Chelsea players do well, I'm always very happy. Moving on to Mr. Kai Havertz then. He only played a half, but got on the score sheet again. And it was another really good performance from Kai. He's really coming into his own now. He's developing into a great player. He's beefed up physically. He's strong now. He's always been good in the air. He's good with his feet. We saw some great skill from him. A nice finish off Werner's shot that hit the post. And Kai's really pushed on kind of the second half of this season. Unlucky not to get the player of the month last month. He's added a lot of goals to his game, and hopefully he can continue. But yeah, in his half yesterday, I thought he was really good. So yeah, I'm going to go 8.5, and he's going to be really crucial again in the Bernabeu. We'll have to see what Kai Havertz we get. But if it's been the one that's been turning up recently, then he's kind of been carrying this attack for the last few games, that's for sure. But Christian Pulisic as a sub. He had a good opportunity, which Fraser forced to save, and the rebound was tapped in. But, I can't remember an awful lot else he did otherwise. I think I'll just give Pulisic a 6 for his substitute appearance. He did play a whole half, which is why I'm rating him. James and Ziyech only played about 25-odd minutes, so I'm not going to give them a rating. But, yeah, those are my player ratings, guys. If you agree or disagree, please comment in the chat. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below if you're going to be watching this back. But yeah, great to see some high numbers on there after a lot of low numbers from the previous 2 games. It was a really welcome return to form for Chelsea. It's nice as a fan to feel good again about Chelsea. The feel-good factor was back after feeling really down after the last 2 games. But really, really positive performance. And hopefully we can take some of that into Tuesday night, because that is really big, our biggest game of the season. But yeah, fantastic performance in the sunshine on the South Coast in the yellow shirts as I'm wearing here. And yeah, guys, we move on to Real Madrid on Tuesday. Massive, massive game. Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. Will we do it? That's the $1 million question, You have to have faith in the boys. I'm a realist. It's going to be very, very difficult. But if anyone can do it, it's Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea in the Bernabeu. But that will come on Tuesday night. The match preview for that will be streamed tomorrow. So make sure you come and join me for that. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, as always, for your support. It was a great afternoon in the sunshine on the South Coast as Chelsea won 6-0. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please do smash a like on this video. Please do click that subscribe button. Please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate all of your support. I'm almost at 400 subscribers now. We are on the road to 1K by the end of this year. So please do spread the word. Please do help me out. But thank you to each and every one of you that, tunes in for the streams, gets involved in the chat, has subscribed to the channel, will subscribe to the channel in the future. I really do appreciate all of your support on this journey. But yeah, please do help me out by clicking that button. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Catch you on Monday for the match preview for the big game against Real Madrid. Up the Chelsea as always.